that over there. Hold this. The tree is pulling me.
Chief.
What's good?
Man, just here.
Yeah?
Just here, man. Just here. Just here.
It's been a week, man.
It's been a week.
It's been a week, bro. Yo, it's amazing, P, how time is just moving by fast.
It's true.
Bro.
It's true, man. It's true.
It's moving by fast. Like
it definitely is, man.
It was just New Year's Eve yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just in Jamaica yesterday for New Year's Eve,
Wow.
so I saw it go.
Wow. Wow.
I
I'm
saw it
going,
go.
I'm
Listen,
going to,
man,
I'm
I
going
gotta tell you,
yeah, talk to me, man.
I need a little, pump up. If they say, man, I gotta. Can you just give me a little, just a little?
You,
Um,
that's what you want? You just want a
just
little,
just so we don't get cut off, but just a little taste
just
of
a
my.
little, so we don't get in. I know because
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
the police is out.
yeah. That's right.
The police is out.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
you
yeah.
want. That's what you want right there. That's what you
That's
want
it.
right there.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's true. That's it, man.
Yep. 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 Okay.
That's
Just so
enough.
we don't get a little, you know what I'm saying? Just so we don't get in no trouble.
It
You know what
is
I'm
enough.
saying?
You remember when Jesus was in the going into the Garden of Gethsemane,
Mhm.
and my man said, "Do you have your sword?" And Jesus said, "It is enough.
It is enough.
It is enough.
It
We
is
have
enough.
enough."
We have enough.
How's your week, man?
Man, I can't complain, Pete. It's a lot going on. I'm excited about what we're about to do. For those who are tuning in for the first time, I'm excited. When I say excited, I'm super excited for what we're about to do come February 28th, March 2nd. It's Unscripted Live. You know what I'm saying? Presented to you by The Bridge.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. When I say The Bridge, I always think of Queensbridge. And then my mind goes to the bridge is over. This bridge definitely ain't over. Let me just say that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This definitely ain't over. But I'm excited about what's about to happen that evening. And we know that it's going to be the jump start to one of many.
Yes,
You
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying?
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, man. But other than that, the week has been good. Um, Faith is still loving me, so I must be doing something right.
You're doing something right, man. You're doing
You know
something
what I'm
right.
saying?
You're doing
Um,
something right.
the boys, I've been, playing this thing. There's this game that they love, bro.
Uh,
On PlayStation 5 called Fortnite.
listen.
Let me tell you something. We've
Listen,
been
my son is still in love with that thing, man. Come on, Fortnite. Come on, man.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I've been playing with them all week. Faith is loving it because she's just like, yeah, daddy spending time with his babies. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
her
or the
love
baby
language.
or the babies ain't bothering them.
You know what I'm saying?
Or ain't bothering her.
She in
That's
there
right.
watching one of her Netflix series right now in peace. So I know
She
she's
good.
in
She good. She good. She good. She good, man. She's good. She's good.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
good. Yeah, man.
So
Again, it's been that week.
yeah,
But what I enjoy is that we have been I'm cutting off the top of my head, right? Yep. Is that we have been really planning for something really great, man.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
February 20.
February 28th
Yep, March 2nd.
to March 2nd, man. We
Yep,
we we doing something crazy.
yep.
And it's not what I was supposed to do, man. I'm supposed to put it lower. Higher or lower? Hold on. Higher. There's higher. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Um, I got a new chair, so that's the problem.
Come on. Come on.
What am I doing?
Come on.
Let me try this. Okay. Yeah. So the fact of the matter is that we got to be in a space where we're inviting people to this thing, man. I mean, I said the bridge,
Yeah.
Queensbridge,
D Bridge. D Bridge.
D
Big
bridge.
Mike. Big Mike said D Bridge.
Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you on, Joe. So I was trying to find a flyer. I don't know where I put
Um,
the flyer,
Hold on.
but
I think I may.
right. This is my girl Dana Bean. She's all the way from Bermuda. She said, "I love the fact that you're intentional about celebrating love. Facts,
Yeah.
facts.
Oh.
Thanks, Dana. Dana, what you need to do is get a ticket because there's the Bermuda Air now comes straight into DC. So
Ooh.
come on, girl.
Come on. Stop playing.
Come on, Dana. Come on in. Come on in.
Stop
All
playing.
right.
Don't even play with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't even play with it.
So let's talk a little bit about that real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we've been doing for some time is that We've been talking about relationships. We've been talking about marriage. We've been
Yeah.
talking about dating. We've been talking about divorce. We've been talking about fatherhood.
Yep.
We've been talking about motherhood.
Yep.
Man, we've been talking about a whole lot.
Yeah.
And in talking about this, so many different people
Mhm.
have texted and called and said, "Can you do this live?" Now, I'll be darned.
I'll
Can I
be
use those words?
I'll be
I'll be,
darned.
I'll be darned
Yeah.
if I did this joint somewhere else and didn't do that at my church first.
Come
You know
on.
what I'm
Come on.
saying?
It would be yeah, when you it's there for you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
So we're inviting everybody out
Yeah.
to Unscripted. Now, what you need to do is understand that you got to uh tickets. You gotta
Yeah, you got to register.
you gotta register. You gotta register. Now Friday is gonna be all men, right? All men on Friday.
Hold up a second. Let me
Uh,
just tell him P.
mhm.
Friday's gonna be barbershop talk. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's it.
we want to bring back that sacred space where men used to be able to go. I don't know what the barbershops are like now. You know what I'm saying? In terms of if those I ain't been home in a minute. And here the barbershops are a little bit different. The women take their sons to the barbershop sometimes. I'm
I
like,
still
Mom,
think I still think that's foolishness.
yeah, yeah,
For me, I'm not saying anybody's right, wrong, or indifferent about it.
yeah.
But I'm not feeling. For
And
me, I'm not feeling a woman taking her
no, I'm not.
taking her
I'm not.
son to the barber shop, man.
And because it's a rites of passage kind of, you know what I'm saying? You get to take
Yeah.
your son to the barber shop and he gets to sit in the barber shop and listen to, you know what I'm saying, grown men have conversations. I remember the conversations used to be deep. They just they talking about some different
Yo,
stuff sometimes.
politics,
But
religion.
it was the place where we talked about politics. It was the
Yeah.
place that we talked about community. We sometimes talked about marital problems, right?
Oh,
It was
indeed.
the yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I
it's
don't
fun,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
but it's funny though. I'm looking in the green room and I'm seeing Sade making up her face in the green room,
Mm,
like,
first
like,
lady.
like I don't know what I'm talking about, or you don't know what you're talking about. But don't worry about it. Looks like she got her hair done. She'll be fine
Yeah,
for
yeah,
today. She'll be fine.
she's
She'll be
going to
fine
be
for
really
today.
snazzy.
But
You know what I'm
before we
saying?
pull anybody on, we just want you to know that we have coined it the bridge, unscripted. And I'm going to just share with everybody on that Sabbath morning, we won't be having a sermon. We're going to be having a panel.
Yeah,
And what's so beautiful is that these individuals who have really been a part of our chats, our talks, our
yeah,
conversations, Sade, Darlington, and Armina, um, and Terry Parks. There's
yeah,
so many others, right? There's Leah Chapman from from
yeah,
Michigan.
yeah.
Just so many different individuals. So
I got to shout
I
out
just
Desiree too, because Desiree's helping us
oh,
lock
oh for
down the
sure, for sure. But
foundation.
you know,
You
it's
know what
funny
I'm
about
saying?
Desiree. Desiree's like she's not gonna get on. What did she say? She said she's not gonna get on the panel,
Nah,
but
she holds down the structure of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? She the Mac in the back.
she's
You know what I'm
crazy,
saying?
man.
Yeah,
She's
that's the homie.
nuts.
That's the
But
homie.
we just be having a good time. And look, man, I'm seeing the numbers rising right now. So I'm going to ask for all those who are on with us at this very moment. Hey, take the time, share this with 3 to 5 people. Go ahead, share this with 3 to 5 people.
Word.
And for those who may not know, even Quest at this point don't know what we're going to talk about. But I got it all here. I got it right now. And I'd love to hear his heart, love to hear his mind, love to hear what he's thinking, love to hear what Armina's thinking, love to hear what
Mhm,
Sade is thinking,
mhm.
and we'd like to hear what you're thinking. So for those who may be on Facebook, if you're feeling this discussion, you want to jump in, you know, just let me know, and
Yeah,
so
for
we'll
sure.
talk a little bit about what is what.
For sure.
Mike Dortch just made a comment. He said, "I ain't seen a barbershop in mad long. I've been handling mine for years." Yo, let me tell you something, bro. Same here, bro. I've been
Yeah.
handling mine for years, but I will tell you. Last week, was it last week? Last week, Thursday. Man, I
Mhm.
went to my man's shop.
You
So there's something about getting a cut,
it is, bro.
but
It is.
ball down,
Yeah. No.
put the what do you call it again?
Yeah,
Put
the foam, the
foam and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff
all
on
that
you.
to the bed. Then they put the things on their hand and they massage the face, and the thing's shaking. And yo, next level, bro.
It's next level. It's next
Next
level.
level.
And ain't no hanky panky, fanky
Yeah, no,
flanky
you know what I'm
going on
saying.
there.
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
I think Pete, we need that for us a little bit more often. One of the things that I've done in the last couple of years too is I've gone for pedicures, right?
yes,
I
yes.
man, I went with the Faith took me to my well, she didn't take me to my, I've been to one before, but she normalized it for me.
I
And so
got
for
you. I
years
got you.
now, ever so often I go and get a pedicure. I remember the first time I went with her, man, it felt so good. I had to look over at her like,
Is what?
is this okay? Because this feels super good. You know
I
what I'm
got one for
saying?
you. I got one for you before we bring our guest, our host on, our other
Yeah,
host on.
yeah.
So I went to Jamaica about maybe 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to get a massage.
Easy,
So
easy.
Wendy's like, oh, I'm gonna come with you. I'm gonna come with you. So listen, man, I didn't know that about couples massages. So I was like, all right, you be in the other room, I'll be in the other room. She was like, nah, we'll be in the room together. I was like,
Mhm.
oh man,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
lady, man, is tearing up my back, man, tearing up my legs, tearing up, and man, I'm feeling so good.
Bruh.
Lady says to me, listen, bro, Wendy's right there. The lady says, all right, turn over. And I look at Wendy, and Wendy looks at me. I look at the lady. She says, "You think Sam never see this thing before?" Wendy's like, "Turn over,
Turn over. Turn right back over.
turn right back over." So listen, man, I'm so glad that we're here together, man. Armina,
Yeah.
how you doing, girl? You good?
No, I'm doing good.
All right, girl. All right, Sade, how you doing?
I'm sleepy, but I'm here.
Hold
How are
on.
you
You
all?
better stay up for a little while. You
Hold
better
on.
Just
stay for a
a
little
little
while.
bit.
Oh, for a little bit. Hey, Kelly Kills was at my church on Sabbath, man. She says self-love and filling your cup is more important for men too.
No
I
doubt.
got you. I
Shout
got you.
out to
But
Kelly
how about
Kells, for
how
real.
about y'all fill our cup too? All right, next one. Okay.
Hey.
What?
Irobo hoko. Nah. That one deserve a tongue.
What is happening right about now? Where am
I just
I?
want to know, why does it start so early? That's what I want to know. Why can't we just ease it to it? Y'all
I'm one of them people jump in. I jump right over.
So I'm going to share something with y'all. This is right off the bat before I go into any question. A question. This young lady right here, Kelly, she was at my church on Sabbath.
You embarrassed her. Go ahead.
Oh, so you already know. Were you watching or something? Were you watching?
Pause for a moment.
Listen,
Pause for
Kelly.
a moment. P slapped everybody in the mouth. The wick don't change. No, the wick changes, the lamp changes, but the oil never changes.
The oil never changes. The
Okay,
oil never changes.
as you were. Yep, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Armina. What's your thought? What you talking about for Kelly?
First of all, I would have loved for the cameras to follow you so we could see Kelly and the man next to Kelly. Okay. But Kelly, I was praying for you because I was like, I don't know what's coming.
It was all right. Good looking guy, man. Good looking guy. But let me tell you something. You know how people can fool you.
Mm-hmm.
You know how people can fool you. Yo, he don't look fooled. It looked like she can hurt him. That guy, yeah, you know what I'm saying. It looked like she can hurt him. Because man, he was a good guy. So what I did, of course, as you heard it, because I didn't put the cameras on them, I gave them 2 of my books.
Yeah.
And let them do the books together, And man, he was like, thank you or whatever. But let me tell you the story. And let me check first. Kelly, can I tell him the California story? Just put yes or no. If I could tell him the California story, just say yes or no. She said, y'all, I was fully aware that was coming.
What'd you do to Kelly, man?
I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Vivian, how you doing? Dr. Vivian, how you doing? She said yes. Okay, I'm gonna tell this story real quick. And I wish she could tell the story because she could tell it much better. But it was crazy, right? Where she was in California, I guess he was here. So it's Christmas time, and he just wants to see her.
Mhm.
She's on vacation in California. I just want to see you. So of course, what he does, he hops on a plane,
Mm.
and you listen. He hops on a plane
To see Kelly?
to see Kelly in California. Remember, they live here, right? But she's in California,
On
just
vacation.
on vacation, visiting her mom.
She's coming
Okay,
back.
she's coming back. She'll be back,
Okay.
right?
Oh, she said,
And watch this, what she said, with my family who he hasn't met yet.
Mm.
All right. But he hooks it up in a way where I'm gonna go see her. He gets on this, the plane is delayed. Then he gets part way, I think to Dallas or something like that. The plane is delayed again.
Mhm.
Mm.
He has a backpack. So he knows he's only going to see her and come back. He sees her for like 4 or 5 hours, turns around, gets on a plane to leave. I just need to see you for a couple of hours.
Whew.
Hold up.
dear Lord,
Um,
bless me in the same way you have blessed.
hold up. Is it safe to say that we'll be making arrangements? I just feel like in the next 2-3 years, I'm gonna be going to a lot of weddings. I just feel it.
This
I
dude is
just
the real
feel it.
deal.
Listen, Kelly, I'm saving up my coins now for my dress for the wedding. Go ahead.
Look, Kelly said, he's playing no games with.
He's playing no games. He's playing
I'm
no
not
games.
mad.
You know, and
I'm
it's
not
funny because
mad.
after church, I was talking to him, and I said to him, "Man, I hope I didn't mess things up by saying that. You know, she dated idiots before, right?"
Yeah.
He was like, "She told me she dated idiots. It's all good." I was like, "All right." And let me tell you how I like his style. He was like, "It's all good." My man, straight white. Okay.
I ain't mad.
Oh, wait. Okay, was he the white guy that went up for prayers?
Yes.
He was the only one in the congregation.
Wait. Only one. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bro.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. You look like, man, cool as all get out. You know what I'm saying? Look at Emmy. Emmy, she's from my church too, man. Emmy, we're gonna be baptizing in about 2 weeks.
Amen.
She's good people. Good
Oh,
people.
that's what's up.
Emmy, good
That's what's
people.
up.
Good people.
That's
What did she
what's
say?
up.
He's different from me for sure. Yes, he's different for her for sure. So, you know, if you ever talk to her and whatnot, you'll find out that, like, you know, Kelly is.
Yeah, we're gonna holler at Kelly when we come up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to holler at Kelly. I need to
Make
meet
sure you
my
bring
man.
him. Friday night is for the men.
Friday nights for the
Friday
Friday
night.
nights for the men. So good people right there. So I'm so glad for her. But we got Sade over here saying, "Oh Lord, please let that be for me too."
Please.
Yo, Sade's looking for somebody who sled through the snow for her.
You know what I'm saying? She at the mall and my man just parachuted into the parking lot. You know what I'm saying?
Hard out here.
Kelly, you see how they do you?
Shoot.
Now, Sade, you see how they do you? You know, like,
Come on. I already know what it is. I ain't worried about First Lady. Hey, it might happen right after this first live. You know what I'm saying?
True.
They already seeing the fly ain't even go out yet. Ooh.
True. Hey Kelly, I mean, just in case you're on and you want to jump on, just go ahead, come on real quick. It's up to you, for real. It's really up to you.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been thinking a whole lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a funeral today, and this lady, I mean, if I wish that I could have snatched it off of Seabrook, right? For anybody watch Seabrook, look at the funeral from Seabrook on YouTube. You would see that her daughter was making a statement, and the mother was standing next to her making a statement about her father. When the daughter went down, she just started. It was not a part of the program. She just started talking about her husband. You listen, when I dead, not when I died. When I dead,
when me dead.
yeah, I really asked myself the question. You know, we're very vulnerable here, right? If I died, would my wife have a script to say? Or would my daughter and son have a script to say? But I'm dealing with wife. Or would she would be able to speak right off the dome about her husband. You know, the way she spoke about her husband, I said, man, that guy, I need a do-over. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to say, not lie at a funeral. You know, she was like, yo, this guy, I knew him when I was 13 years old. And as kids growing up, he spoke to me about the Lord. And she said that he was really that kind of man. But this is what got me. She was like, nah, he wasn't just my friend, he was my brother. Yo, I gotta ask this question. Is it safe to say that you have married your best friend? Is it really safe? And do really people marry their best friend? Really? Or did you marry this person with the hope that they could be your best friend? I'm gonna ask that question. And really, I want us to start thinking about that, right? I want to think about that because I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I don't think it's so good to marry your best friend because I married my best friend. I actually married my best friend. And sometimes I wonder, would it have been better if we took a journey to best friend? Okay. All right. So I'm being vulnerable when I say that, but it is a fact that when both of my brothers got married, at the time they got married, I could have easily said, if I'm marrying somebody else, this girl has to be in a suit next to me. All right. Is it safe to marry your best friend? What's your thoughts, man?
I think.
What are your thoughts?
Here's
Anybody?
I think the question begins with P. What are we supposed to experience in marriage? Like, first and foremost, what is your relationship supposed to be with God? Because we're moving in that direction. If your relationship's supposed to be with God, one that exceeds every thought that you could possibly have of what it means to be in relationship with somebody, that's where it should start. And then when you get into relationship with somebody else, it's really supposed to reflect that relationship that you got with him. Hence the reason why I'm always saying to people, just do the internal work first and work with God before you make that decision. Because if you choose somebody in the state that you're currently in, you're going to choose somebody that's a reflection of who you are spiritually. And then if you're trying to maintain when you grow, what happens if they don't grow with you?
Scary.
Right?
But that's scary.
So what I've looked at marriage to be is supposed to be the most satisfying and the most gratifying, the most fulfilling relationship on the face of the earth outside of your relationship with God. And when you read the Bible, I mean, you look at it, the marital relationship is supposed to be a reflection of our relationship with him.
Right.
So if there's any discrepancy in between the two, number one, people are going to be like, I don't want that, number one. And then number two, if that's what Christianity looked like, I definitely don't want that.
I hear you.
So, yeah, I'm just saying that I think it should be a friendship first, because there's when you my ace and then it blossoms into like God and Enoch, I can't do without you. I'm going to have to take you to heaven back with me.
Wow. Yo, that was poetic, bro. That was poetic.
So the crazy thing is, I see it on both sides, because in order to marry a best friend, that relationship has to blossom. It has to bloom. There has to be like, this depth to the relationship. So it doesn't happen overnight, right? So then the double question is, can I marry my best friend in 6 months? Does it take 6 months to build that bond? But the beautiful thing about marrying a best friend is the concept around how the relationship is rooted in that mutual respect, how the relationship is rooted in trust, and even that genuine connection. So when I hear you, Quest, talk about the mirroring of our relationship with Christ, that's what I want. That's the relationship I want with God. I want that respect. I want that trust and that genuine connection. that it's not a forced connection, right? So
Right.
spending time with God is not something that I have to force myself to do. It's something that I'm eager to do without even effort. I'm doing it. So yeah, I mean, I think when we talk about this whole concept of marrying your best friend, let's explore the depth of the bond. How has the relationship even strengthened over time? And how does
Mm.
transitioning into marriage even enhances the relationship further?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's let's not talk to Saturday. Don't talk. Here's my issue, right?
Because I'm holding on to my,
Hey,
I'm
hey,
holding on
hey,
to
hey.
my vest. You know what
Before
I'm
I say
saying?
before I say what I say, Daryl Morrison makes a comment. He says, "In my marriage, I've noticed the old me faded away. Is that a
Mm,
good thing or a bad thing?" That's all I want you to answer, Daryl. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? And if you look at this, Heather makes the comment, "God and Enoch, man, I love it. That was great. That was awesome. Very poetic, like I said before." Here's my thing: the way that men grow up. I'm sorry, the way that I grew up, the way that my brothers grew up, the way that my cousins grew up. Right? It's very difficult for me to see um my relationship with my wife like God, like when sex is not a worship thing that I was taught. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So it's kind of crazy sometimes when Quest, I believe what you're saying, right? I'm in what you're saying. When you say, "Hey man, I want this thing," it's got a mirror. For some reason or the other, I think that sexuality and intimacy with your best friend, it seems to be a cut. You know what I mean? It's different, or I should say, there's a dichotomy there that shouldn't be there, right? And I think that because we don't understand the intimacy between us and God, there's no way of understanding the intimacy between us and another person,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm gonna tell you this right now. I have no problem saying this, but I'm selfish. I'm very selfish, and I don't know if I'm selfish because this is what I want, or I don't know if I'm selfish because this is my expectation. So marrying your best friend sometimes, when I see it every time for the past 23 years, when I've been marrying folks and I see it on that little paper. Today I've married my best friend. Sometimes I look at Wendy and we'd be like, "No, you ain't.
mm,
No." Because when you marry your best friend can tell you, um, let's keep going. All right. Okay. Your best friend can tell you what's up. And you'd be like, "Where'd you get that from? Negro, I know you." Or you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Instead of 5 years saying, "I've come to know that about you." You know
mhm.
what I'm saying?
You
Um, let's Sade, I know somebody's making a comment right here. If you're not building on the foundation of friendship, make sure it's not a foundation.
that part.
Wow.
I know it because I did it the first time.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. I hear
But
you. I hear.
wait,
I hear.
let me hold that part. I'm gonna hold that for a minute because
Okay,
yeah.
Daryl just made a comment. He said it is a good thing. What he's talking about is a good thing. Dr. Vivian makes a comment. She says, "Marrying your best friend requires a level of vulnerability that takes time to build." It
Right.
takes a lot of time to build that.
But here's the thing. We said it the other day. God is so instrumental in how he does things. When you read Genesis chapter 1, right? And relationship
Ooh, ooh.
principles,
Oh, I am
practices,
so,
policies,
guys,
huh?
I am so sorry. I didn't even see everybody in here. I'm busy
Wow.
talking. I didn't see everybody in here. First of all, I'm so sorry. I didn't see everybody. Hey, Parks, I'm so sorry. I was not. I
No
was.
problem.
Well, what I did see, I saw the lions, and I said, "Let me just keep moving." You know what I mean?
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Kelly, could you turn your camera this way so you can be?
There
There
you
we go,
go.
teacher. There we go, teacher.
There we go.
Okay, there we go, teacher. Hey, just very quickly, I know you were saying something, Quest, and I'm sorry about that. I know you were saying
No
something,
worries.
but
Let's deal with that first.
Kelly, we just want to pause for a moment to go back to your story, your interesting story. It looks,
Thanks. So I can go to bed. I appreciate it.
oh, that's right, because you got school in the
Come
morning.
on.
That's
I
right.
do have school in the morning. Ain't no more snow days. They done.
What's the big S for? Is it
Oh,
what's
Suitland. Suitland
oh,
High
I
School.
forgot about that.
Hi.
Okay, we
Home of the
go.
Rams. How you doing?
So,
Hi.
so here it is. We know you've been dating for a long time, right? I mean, I've known you. I've been your pastor
Hmm.
before what, 8 years, right? Maybe eight, 9 years
Plus,
plus, right?
at
And
least
I've
a good
known
10.
That's true. And I've known some of the guys you've dated. I know about some of the guys you've dated. And listen, we're not pushing you to marriage or anything like that. But
Both of y'all,
my
Timmy
question
come up
is,
off the bar.
what is the
Come back.
difference? What is the difference with? Sorry, what were you looking for, and what is the difference with this guy right now? That's all. And don't throw his name out there. Just say this guy.
That's fine. So, what I was looking for, I just wanted somebody who was going to be honest, who could communicate, who could be a partner. Like, it wasn't going to be all on me. But that first one, the honesty factor, apparently in the single world is very difficult to find. So, I was running across a lot of people that were living double lives, hiding things, not being completely honest. It was a lot. It was a lot. Now there was a handful of good guys. I'm not gonna say they were all trash, but there was a handful of good guys, but it was just it wasn't right. Like it was, they either were too far away, maybe we just weren't on the same page at that time, and that was fine. What's different is we're on the same page, we're both looking for the same thing. He has been especially respectful of my boundaries because I was like, look, I want to date for 90 days. I don't want a title. I don't want intimacy beyond conversation. Like, I just want to date and get to know you for 90 days. And he was very respectful of that and asked me to be his girlfriend on the 90th day. Um,
All right
yeah. Now he's also been respectful in my pacing of meeting people because I have a big village. He does not. And so for him, it was a bit overwhelming, especially because I have a lot of men in my village that I've known since middle school and high school that he was kind of like, well, they must want you. And I'm like, no, they're just like really good people. So meeting people and it's been making him more comfortable and, even more secure in himself, which has been really nice. But he's been a partner already easily. He's like, hey, the snow. He's like, I work. I can come by, leave the shovel out in the salt bucket. I'll shovel and salt while you're asleep before I head home. Both days. Like,
You're all right, Sade? You all right over there,
Sade
girl?
is having a
You're right.
problem right now. She's having a problem right
All I'm gonna say is, Lord, I
communication's
shouldn't
been
be doing
everything.
this.
And then he conspired with my stepmom. So him and my stepmom, she asked me if she could add him as a Facebook friend. And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, you know about each other, we've talked on the phone together. You can add him. And they started conspiring. And I told him, I was like, look, I go to Christmas every year to see my family. I'm going to do a trip. I got like 3 stops along the way, all in California. Probably not going to be able to really talk to you as much as I normally would, but we'll still communicate. And yeah, he conspired with my stepmom to fly out Christmas Day. He was off Christmas Day. Um, he got to the airport at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day. They were like, yeah, you don't have a flight. And he's like, what do you mean I don't have a flight? I leave today. They're like, no, you leave tomorrow. He's like, no, I come back tomorrow. So it was this whole thing. He ended up sitting at the airport for hours, layover or wait list after wait list, gets to Ohio, catches his flight. The flight into Ohio is late. So he's running to his terminal in Dallas. They literally closed the door and he was like, oh my God, please let me on. Like the door was closed. They opened the door, let him on. He gets to California, walks from the airport to my stepmother's house.
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
What?
back up. They let him I'm sorry. He gets to California and does what?
Walks from the airport to my stepmother's house. She
Is
lives like 10-15 minute walk from the Palm Springs airport.
Oh,
He goes to the door
my
and
different.
walks in and like at this point I caught on. Both of my brothers kind of sort of in their own way spilled the beans without spilling the beans. So I kind of was figuring like it was happening, but I wasn't sure when. He was supposed to get there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He didn't get there till 9 o'clock at night just to turn around and go back home at 1:30 the next day in the afternoon to go back to work.
Amen, Kelly. I'm so happy for you.
No, you're not.
I'm really happy.
No, you're not. You're like, where you at?
Oh, I got to
So
talk to
I
him.
think it was crazy because my last therapy session before I actually sort of kind of met him, my therapist was like, it's a numbers game, just date. don't have an expectation. And that's how we set the 90 days. He was like, date. And I did. So I was dating. So when I met him, I told him, I'm like, look, I'm dating. Like, I'm going out with a few people. You cool with that? He was like, yeah. And he said, you're going to figure out that it's me when it's time. You just let me know.
So that you're gonna figure out that it's me.
Right.
You're gonna figure out.
The confidence in this.
Oh yeah, he told one of my girlfriends today, he said, I'm gonna marry her. He said, anytime somebody asks what my intentions are, he said, I'm gonna marry her. He's like, is that too much? I said, if that's what your intentions are, no. Speak your truth.
Speak your truth. You sound so black. Okay.
Kelly,
So,
Kelly, we need to meet him. Send him the link. You know, or better yet, bring him at the end of February. Bring him.
Oh
He gotta
wait,
be in there
he's
Friday
gonna
night.
be on a guy's trip at the end of February. Sorry.
okay.
He's
Okay.
already got pre-plans.
Yes, all right. Listen, thanks for making us making dreams come true.
Sleep well.
Yeah, sleep well. Go to sleep.
Sleep well.
Go to sleep.
I will.
You know that's the only reason why Wendy went to church on Sabbath, right? You know, that's
I know. Because I told her we were coming. She already was in the mix.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
He already told me, he's like, I don't know about going to other churches. I said, oh really? He's like, I really like how Pastor Graham preaches. I said, okay.
Wow. Appreciate that. Listen. We don't want you on anymore. We want you to go and get some sleep.
Rest well.
Amen.
God bless you.
May the Spirit of the living God rest upon you this evening.
While I go to sleep.
As you sleep.
In my slumber before these children in the morning.
Come on.
Don't listen before you
deal with high school children. Rest easy.
I think I
got the little people.
Yeah. Let me ask you this before you go. Are you thinking you're gonna have any issues with immigration stuff with the kids you teach? Are you having any issues yet or anything?
We've already been briefed.
Wow. Okay.
On what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say. So my principal doesn't think our school is going to be one that they target first because we're not a neighborhood school. We're a lottery school.
Okay.
So they're definitely targeting neighborhood areas first. But yeah.
Okay, I got you. Well, listen, thank you for coming on and sharing that stuff still works. And mind you, we wish the best for you. We hope the best for you. But like we always say here, make that relationship mirror God. Yeah. Make that relationship with God. Mm-hmm. Here you go. We'll see you here. Take it easy.
All right, girl.
Bye.
Good girl, man. She's good people. Really good people. Really good people. Sade, I need to hear what you think.
Let me lock up Paul for a minute because I know you've been sitting there. I've been holding on to my vest for you. First lady, please come up in here. You know what I'm saying?
So, so let me say this. As a single woman, hearing stories like Kelly is both frustrating and affirming.
Yes.
Wow. Right? Wow.
Yes.
Because you do have that, Lord, if you can do it for her, I have to believe you can do it for me. And sometimes it's hard to listen to a testimony when you're going through a test. So it is very encouraging, right? To hear like, listen, God is still doing it. But it's frustrating when it's like, but when? Just when? And I think the thing that's amazing in her testimony was that she was dead set in what she was going to do. I think too often women, when we date, it depends on what the man says is what's going to happen. That whole idea of, do I like you? Right? Just because you like me, like, do I like you enough to go that way? And that kind of leads into the whole conversation about marrying your best friend. I personally don't want to marry my best friend. And let me say this, I have a best friend, right?
Male?
Female.
Okay.
I have male friends, but I have a female best friend. And that relationship took so long to cultivate. And it went through so many trials and so many ups and downs and years where we didn't talk and we came right back together. And so when I think about marriage, I don't think about marrying my best friend, I think about marrying my protector. Right. I think I'm looking for something different in this season of my life. I'm looking for, like we said last week, I'm looking for my covering. I'm looking for my protector. I want someone who wants partnership. And so I think I have to be okay with saying, okay, he's not my best friend now. Can he become my best friend? Of course. But the day we
Mm.
get married, I'm your missing rib. You're my provision. That's where we are today.
Can I tell you what I hear you saying? If and please, fix me if anything.
Mhm.
What I hear you saying is that's not my first thing. My
Mm-mm.
first thing is find me that completion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Find me that completion. And please don't get it twisted. I know people will be like, "Oh, you got to be complete before you find somebody else." That's not what I'm talking about. I'm going biblical right now, right? All right. Put the puzzle together. The friendship part is got to be the potential of that best friend. You're looking for the potential of that individual. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But just tell me what your thoughts are on
So
that.
that's a secondary thing to
Okay,
me.
for
The
you, I understand.
My primary is husband, because I think we have to understand, like, different roles have different names. I'm not
Mm,
looking to marry my best friend. I'm looking to marry my husband, because that carries more weight than my best friend. As we
Mm,
evolve, maybe he'll become a father, maybe he'll become
Oh, he
my
gonna become a
best
father.
friend. But on the day that I'm walking down the aisle, I'm walking towards my protector, I'm working towards my provision, I'm walking towards my covering. We can hee hee ha ha later. But at this point in life, there's a partnership that I'm looking for. And I'm okay with us being friends and friendly, but I'm not seeking that out, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense.
does marrying your best friend to you, First Lady, does marrying your best friend to you dummy down like the whole idea of marriage versus like marrying your protector? Because as I hear you talk, it sounds like the protector holds a different esteem than a best friend does.
Mhm.
Very much so. I
okay.
think there's a different weight, right?
Mhm.
There's a different weight to it. I'm trying to think of how I can say it, but at the end of the day, that what I'm looking for carries a lot of weight.
Right, right. And
And
you
it's the seriousness of the relationship. Now, not to say he can't, again, 5 years down the road, we could be doing a tour and I'll be like, yeah, my best friend coming with me. And it could be him, right? It could be him. But on that day, I'm not, we ain't got to be there. And I think for me to become a best friend takes so long, sir. We don't have that kind of time
know, right.
before we get to the altar. We don't have that kind of time.
I mean, I think you said it right. And then I said earlier, there's this bond that is built, and you only build a bond when you've gone through things together. Like,
Okay.
when
Okay.
you've gone through good time, the good and the ugly, that's what builds the bond. I didn't marry my best friend, but he is my best friend today, 10 years later, so like, I think that some of us want to marry the person that is like a best friend. And I will tell you, I have learned people have different definitions of best friends.
Okay.
Very true.
So
And
when you're
uh,
looking up what best friend means, that definition doesn't apply across the board. And Sade, you had mentioned something about, you know, I forget what you said, but my thought was nowadays people, and not everyone, but some people, because I was one of those 10 years ago, date out of desperation. So it's
Wow.
hard for us to set, like Kelly said, she said she had boundaries, right? And she went into the relationship setting those boundaries. It wasn't that she went into the relationship and the boundaries was built later on. She went in and said, if you want to be with me, these are the things that I'm going to need from you. But I don't know that nowadays that we go in that way. I think some of us, the older we get, we start thinking, I'm too old or I'm getting too old. I might as well lessen my boundaries or lessen what I'm looking for. And it could come across as desperation. And then we get into something and then we're like, yo, is this really what I want?
and
So
And to the point, I don't think it's desperation. Okay, let me say this from a 38 single, no children, Black female. It's not desperation as much as I don't want to be too much, right? Because men will say, well, if you're not having sex with me, then we're not dating. Okay, so let me dial that back. Maybe I don't have to be because I want to be involved with somebody, but it's if you're not having sex with me, then this ain't gonna happen. And well, I don't really want to date. I want to, I'm just trying to figure out and see where things are gonna go. And I'm talking to multiple people, and you get to a point where you're like, okay, what can and can I not deal with? Because either I'm gonna be too much or I'm gonna be just enough. And if I'm too much for you, that's okay. But for somebody else, I'll be just enough. And I'd rather wait to be with that person who sees me as just enough than to shrink myself down because for you, I'm too much.
But if we date around deal breakers, then that
Ooh.
means we're like, because a deal breaker is like the final straw. So that means there's layers before you get to that deal breaker. So if we date around deal breaker, then we're always compromising our values, all the things we initially said we wouldn't do. We start to, like you said, water it down, dummy it down, because at the end of the day, if I could be honest, back then I didn't want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I didn't want to be alone, I was willing to compromise a whole bunch of things. And they were good things. I told you guys on day one that he's like, yo, we're not doing the do until we get married. And now I could have been like, all right, deuces, because there's somebody who's gonna do the do. So I'm gonna
That's
go,
true. That's true.
but it was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, is there something here? And so I think sometimes we compromise what we say we would never do because we don't want to be alone.
So is it a thing then when if we compromise versus it being a value? Because when it's a value, like okay, so I'll say this is the reason why I'm saying that. I'll tell you a quick story, and I can't say the names because some of us might know the names. One particular lady, nice career, right? The career that she has, I'm talking about well-to-do, drive nice, live nice, right? Gentlemen, same thing, well-to-do, drive nice, live nice, all the things that come along with, what I'm saying, having options from that perspective, right? They get connected and decide to go out on a date. They're both like, yo, this is about to be lovely, right? Because I know the two of them, and I'm like, yo, this is about to pop off. They go out to dinner. He comes over, picks her up, comes to the door, rings the doorbell, brings her a nice little gift. You know what I'm saying? Says, hey, I'm super excited to take you out this evening. Blah, 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 blah. They get in the car. He takes her on to the date. They get there. They go to one of the elite restaurants. She's giving me the breakdown. He takes her to this particular restaurant. They go to the restaurant. My man blows easy 3-4 balls that night. You know what I'm saying? Food, drinks, da 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 da. They go out to a nice little spot for dessert after, right? Coffee, all of that good stuff. Conversation, she said, is phenomenal. Phenomenal, right? They're talking back and forth. They seem to share almost a good number of things they got in common. She says to my man, one day I want to have children. You know what I'm saying? Nothing major, maybe about 2 or 3, the kind of white picket fence dog kind of thing. He was like, yeah, I get it. He is like, my sister has children. I'm really not interested in the children thing. You know what I'm saying? I pick up my nieces and my nephews a lot of the time, bring them over. I spend time with them. You know what I'm saying? And then I bring them back home. She said, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Terry. And then they bring him back home.
Then they bring him back home. So they go back into conversation now, and the conversation's still phenomenal. She was like, they get at the end of the night after they go to the desert spot, they go walking or whatever the case may be. They still talking, get in the car, drive home. Wonderful night. He kisses her on the cheek and he's like, man, this night has been absolutely sensational. When can I take you out again? She said, you can't.
Oh,
you cannot.
You cannot. She said, let me tell you something. Can I just be perfectly honest with you? And when she said it, I was like, why? And then it hit me that she said to him, any woman, and I'm saying any woman, would be an absolute fool not to take you on. She said, but I know that I want children. And if we get married and you have children, there's a great possibility that you will resent and not pour into that kind of relationship the way, because you never wanted children to begin with. I don't want to waste your time, and I definitely don't want you to waste mine. I was like, is there even at least an option for friendship? She said, for what? I
Mm.
got tons of friends. And the reason I'm saying that is because when you have a core value, because that's not unreasonable, that is a natural desire for a woman to want to have children, right?
Some women.
Some women, well, let's say a good number of them. I don't know what the statistics are. I haven't gone, but I know, but a good number of women, right? If we were to start polling and doing surveys and stuff, a good number of women really desire to have children, right? So if that is her natural desire and that's what she wants, and you telling me, and we're not young, right? At least we're not old neither, but we ain't young. And I'm thinking about future and having children, all this stuff. Why sit here and waste my time? So that's what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about, like, okay, are we compromising some stuff, or is it that we have some core values? And if it's me, I'm just like, yo, don't compromise your core values. It's too many women out here, it's too many men out here for you to be doing that kind of stuff. Because I feel like if we compromise, you could have, let's say, 5 core values. That one piece, that one last one might be the smallest one. You get married and that becomes your biggest problem.
But it sounds like she worked on herself in order, after that first date, to be that convicted in that part of it, especially since the date went so well. Take that away, there seemed to be so much potential in that relationship. Man. And it was like the first date, she was like,
Good, I'm good, bro. The other part of that is, Quest, you say there's so many women and so many men. It's not true. It's not. Like the numbers, so when I say
okay,
that,
I see what you're saying from a women's perspective. Is that what you're saying?
Okay,
I see what you're saying.
I'm going to speak after that, Paul.
Yeah.
The numbers are not in my favor. I had a therapy session today. That's why I look just done. Like, I'm over it. My therapist today. He was like, because I was telling him, I was like, I try to be nice. I try to be friendly. Even if a guy says, he doesn't want us to go any further, or we want different things, I still try to be his friend. He said, why? He said, why are you so interested in appeasing somebody that doesn't want to meet your needs? He was like, every man in your phone who had one point, y'all had some type of interaction, and he decided, or you decided, this isn't going to go any further, you need to delete their numbers. He was like, because they should not have access to you anymore.
Is that what he said to you?
That's what my therapist said to me today. So I've been deleting numbers.
No, come on.
Yeah.
You said you had, why? Because of boundaries?
So because he's been my therapist for a while, and he knows how you could tell me, Sade, I don't want to deal with you. Like, you're too much, right? You're too much, or we don't want the same things. So but I'm still going to check on you. I'm still going to say, hey, how you doing? I'm still going to make sure you're good. So I'm feeding something in you, but not getting anything in return. And so I think, to her point, when she said, I don't need another friend. I don't need another friend. And he asked me, what is a friend? Because these men are not your friends. They're people you call when you're bored or lonely. And I said, well, sir, you have a wonderful day.
Wow. Terry, go ahead, man. Terry, go ahead, Terry, and I'm going to jump back.
So, on this show, and I hear it all the times, but I hear Sade always saying, when Quest said, there's a lot of men and women out there. She says there's not. Okay. And you hear a lot of women say, hey, there's no good men out there. Guys, there's no women out there. This is what we call, what you start to enter into is a term called confirmation bias. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Confirmation bias is your brain constantly telling you that you're right about something, about your bias. All these dudes out here are some no good dudes. Ain't nobody out there, ain't nobody out there, ain't nobody out there. So then guess what the universe brings you? Everybody that you say. So you're seeking, you don't even realize you're seeking for that because you're doing the familiar. Your confirmation bias is telling you that this is right. See what I told you? Guys, they all dogs, they all dogs, they all dogs. So the universe is going to bring you dogs. And everybody else that is not a dog will be withheld from you. They'll be held back from you because all you see, your confirmation bias is, you ain't no good. They're no good. They're no good. They're no good. And that's what the universe brings you. So if there's no guys out there, your confirmation bias, your brain is telling you, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. And so as you go out and seek and search, that's all you find because the good is being withheld from you.
So are you saying that about Sade, that Sade is seeing that? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. If she keeps saying there's no one, there's no one, there's no one, then okay, your confirmation bias is saying that. That's a psychological term. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe that's what that is.
All right, here we go. Here we go, Sade. Here we go.
Because I never said there aren't good men out there. I said the numbers aren't in my favor. I said,
confirmation bias.
It sounds like the Hunger Games.
Here's the thing, because I may get in trouble for this. There are good men who will sleep with me, who will take me on dates, who will have fun with me. But good men who are ready to get married.
Okay, all right. Okay. Pause it for a second. Hey, Sheila, how are you, girl?
Hi.
Hey, turn your camera this way. There we go. This is one of my friends, Sheila. She'll fight for you. She'll die for you. She'll kill for you. She'll stab for you. She's Nostrand Avenue. She's Nostrand Avenue.
Brooklyn, turn up.
When we were talking a little bit before, and her name is Ingrid in here. We were talking about best friends and so and boundaries and what have you. I wonder just if you could share with us what you're going to share with us, especially as a divorced individual, right? And probably where you are now, or marrying your best friend. Just share with us where you were at, just very quickly.
So when I met my spouse, I was 20, and we recently divorced when I was 42, 41. So when I met him, I was fresh out of my mom's house. I left my family house to be in an apartment with him in Brooklyn, and we were great together. Great partners, but I don't think he was my best friend. The qualification that I had for our best friend were different than what I had for him. And I don't think I understood what it was to be a best friend in a marriage. I used to be like, oh, he's my best friend, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. So my female best friend, or even some male friends, it wasn't the same. I think there were times when I thought we were there, and he did nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong. You guys know my ex. He's a great guy, spiritual guy, but I don't think we had that communication that is required in a friendship, just even a normal friendship. And in marriage, it's a little bit different. So now that I'm divorced, and we divorced amicably.
Yeah, right.
Great divorce, no attorney.
How in the world, right? I mean,
okay. And so when he come to the house today to pick up something, now that I'm single,
mercy.
I have a different understanding of my requirements, and not like, oh, he needs to look like this, he needs to look like that. This is how I need to be talked to. This is how I need to be treated. This is how I need to be looked at. This is how I need to be held. This is how I need to be hugged. This is how when I'm in my down, this is what I'm looking for. I did not have those tools or understanding when I was younger. So I heard someone say, as we're older, we kind of decrease our standards, or maybe just kind of bend them a little bit because we're desperate. Let me tell you something about me.
Okay. The Brooklyn came out.
Desperate is absolutely, and I am such a different woman. My tolerance level for just people in general is different. The man or men that come into my life, I don't waste no time. I don't have time to determine whether you think that I may be the chick for you or the girl for you or somebody you want to take out. I don't got time for that. So if we're talking, I nix them out quick, fast. What you said? Oh, you don't like this? Oh, okay. I think some guy said something to me one day and he was like really abrupt. And I was like, oh, all right. I'll talk to you later. That's it.
And that's
That's it.
exactly what it became later.
Oh, no.
That's all.
Mm-mm.
Peace out.
And I think sometimes we have this, and I don't know, I know it's different for women who has never been married. It's a different kind of thing. What I'm seeing out here are women who've never been married in their 40s, and they're like, oh well, maybe I'm like the young lady said, maybe I don't need somebody that makes 50,000. Maybe they can make 30. Right? I make 150. They make 30. I'm okay with that. Or maybe he doesn't. He's never lived alone. He lived at home with his mom, but he's moving with me. You would kind of decrease, and I think that's what she was getting at. The women now who've been married, whether it's for 5 years, or someone like me with my ex for 20 something years, now you can't come at me with no mess because it's not just my standard, and I don't agree with all the 50 things on your list that you need to have a spouse, whether it's a male or female that you're looking for. But I have qualifications. Sometimes in your marriage, you've been together for maybe 10 years, and in 5 years, and you go, look, we need to reevaluate what we're doing, and this is what I desire, and this is what I need. It's too late.
So let me ask you. Wait. So Sheila, let me ask you this. When you talk about reevaluating, I'm going to say the same thing to Armina. I'm going to say the same thing to you,
Mm.
to you, Quest. For all those who have been divorced or what have you, Terry yourself also. It's me and me and Sade is on this end for a moment. Just stay. Me and Sade is on this end for a moment. Um, in reevaluating,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is part of reevaluating finding out, is this thing working? Or is part of reevaluating saying, shut up, Paul. How do you reevaluate? And I want to hear it really. I want to hear it from Terry. I want to hear it from Armina. I'd like to hear it from Quest. I'd like to hear it from you, Sheila. And Sheila, I'm going to start with you. How do you reevaluate?
So, I went through that years ago where we had to kind of look at what we were doing. And it wasn't divorce. It wasn't like, is it working? We're going to leave. No, it was, okay, we're going to stay together. What does it look like now? What are we doing that's not great? And how we need to fix that. So that's what reevaluating mean. I remember there was a time when I was just like, oh, this is what I need. And if you can't do that, we got to talk about it. But it was too late, right? We've already got stuck in our space. This is where our space is, right? 10 to 12 years in. How do you really reevaluate? Not that you can't treat each other differently, love each other differently, and be intimately differently. But this is what
Intimately
someone,
differently.
huh?
Intimate
Well,
differently.
this not the show for this.
Oh, okay. Right.
We could do that another time.
Yeah, good.
Okay. So, so reevaluating was just mainly what do I think I need and how do I
Okay.
express that, and what does
Mhm.
he think, what does he need from me, and how do he express it, and where can we meet in the middle? That's what
Okay, cool.
reevaluating looked like.
Okay, cool. Free. Okay, cool. Armina, I know that yours is a little bit different, right? But you did get married again, right?
Mhm.
What does reevaluating? Because right now he's your best friend. When you reevaluate, what does that look like for you and him?
I mean, like from the previous husband to this husband.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that space, the in between, my first marriage was amazing. It was great. There were flaws within that marriage, and there were things I said I will not compromise on. Intimacy was not one of them. We all know that.
Mm.
But I said there were things that happened and that patterns I saw that I knew the questions to ask, not to get the yes or no, but to get a roundabout way. So there was some reevaluating of, although I felt lonely and I didn't want to stay single and I didn't want to be alone, I mean, I had messed around with other guys before I met my current husband, and I didn't jump to marry them, right? So I think the dating process is to clean the pool and get all the piss out the pool that you don't want. You're gonna have some,
Dang.
you know, but you gotta clear it out. So I had a list, like Sheila said, it don't have to be 50 things. I maybe had 50 things on there, but they weren't top 50. There were things that I could do without. And so that's sort of where I started, with the things I could do without. And then it got down to the things that were like absolutely no's. Like if it didn't happen, if it wasn't there, I just wouldn't be interested. I don't care how fine you look. I don't care how good everything else was. I just couldn't bring myself to have those things that I didn't want, if that makes sense.
I got you. I thank you. Perfectly said. Go ahead, Quest. What about you?
I think the reevaluation.
Somebody tried to clean it up. Kelly tried to clean. First of all, Kelly's supposed to be sleeping.
That's first of all. You got
Kelly's supposed to be sleeping. Kelly's not supposed to be on right now.
Leave her alone.
She talking about LOL, all that nastiness out of the pool. She didn't say nastiness. She used the word clean the piss out of the pool. That's what she said. I just want to make sure that we all know that's what she said. And and I want you to understand something, Sheila. This is my show. When you come on, everybody on there is supposed to be, hey Sheila, hey Sheila, hey Sheila, hey Sheila, hey Sheila, all the way down. All right. Go ahead, Quest. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the reevaluation for me was first looking in the mirror, like, who are you now that you've experienced this divorce? What brought you here? Because you could look at all the many different factors and all the different reasons. At the end of the day, I made some decisions that got me here. Number one, I chose this woman to be my wife, right? And I looked at my decision-making process in the beginning, and they were all extrinsic values. Nothing was intrinsic. And we already know that, you know what I'm saying, stuff will happen. You feel me? So one of the first things that I did is I had to look in the mirror and just like be honest with myself about who I was, what I was looking for. And then I got some people in to help me through the reevaluation process. Like, these are the things that I like: a round backside, I like small waist, I like hips, I like thighs, I like titties, I like, you know what I'm saying?
Whoa. Can we use the word
leave the man alone. Leave the man alone.
See, I didn't know we could be like this on this show, because I would have not sent.
Pause. We can. You can't.
Yeah.
Listen, when I say I know Sheila, right? Let me get a quick commercial before I go to let me get a quick commercial. Listen, before I go to Dr. Parks. So me and my wife, 2018, was it 18?
Yeah.
We just did this. Jeez, can everybody stop saying hi to Sheila? Get off my show, Sheila. No, okay. So we had this. We went away for a weekend. It was like 80 couples, right? It was about 80 couples.
It was long. It was a large.
It was a lot of couples, man. And me and Wendy did this thing. Sheila comes to us. Sheila's like, yo, I want to do a workshop. All right, Sheila. Sheila did the workshop with the women.
Keep it 100.
Let's just say I had an eventful evening.
Oh, I love it.
As you should.
Let's just say Sunday. I kid you not. Sunday, the guys were like this. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
I walked into the cafeteria for breakfast with a standing ovation.
That's right.
Okay. But I didn't know we could talk like that. So now I know what's up.
Oh my goodness. Good night, Sheila. Look at that. Hit me up, Sheila. Listen, Sheila bought, or was it Wendy? Sheila, y'all got every woman in there got toys. Every woman in there got toys. And I'm going to say this to you, Sheila, especially where you are now, and maybe it's a shameless plug. I still think we need people who are Christians who can go into a Christian society and teach about intimacy, because that's all come from God. You know what I'm saying? So,
No, it's a fact.
Yeah. So, but you can't say what you want to say on this show. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, but
you can't.
I just wanted to say that I think it was important in reevaluation to have a deeper understanding of me first before I went back in. It took me 6 years between the time of 6 or 7 years between the time of divorce and remarrying again. And now I'm about to walk into 14 years of marriage. You feel me?
14.
14. This year, make it 14.
Wow.
Amen.
As a
Wow. Wow.
now, the first time I did it, I was married in 2003 and divorced in 2005.
I got you.
Yeah,
Got you.
So yeah, I think the first part of reevaluation is reevaluating me internally first. So,
wow, Sheila, can you see all this stuff on the bottom? Can you see the words?
Yes.
Sheila's the best.
This person
Sheila
right here
for my next
for
event.
the next event. That's in Atlanta.
That's in Atlanta.
All right. So, Parks, what's your thoughts on reevaluating?
I think what you have to do is go back and revisit the covenant.
Mm.
Okay?
Wow.
What did you agree to in the beginning? I, so and so, promised to do what? Okay. And then you go back and you look at that and say, am I doing that? Is this what I'm, and you get to your partner, and you know when things are not good, you sit down and ask them, hey, are you happy? Are you comfortable? Is, everything all right with you? Okay. Because there's some things that we talked about in the beginning that are not happening. And we need to go back. It's just like, any athlete. He's like, hey, we need to go visit the contract. I put up these numbers and I'm not getting paid what I should be getting paid.
Wow.
And so when you equate that to your relationship, hey, look, I'm doing all of this stuff in the beginning and you said you were going to do this. Because remember what I said last time, it's not about what you're doing. A lot of times it's about what you're not doing. Okay. Well, what am I not doing? How can I be better? The thing is, Quest said it. A lot of folks don't want to hold up the mirror to their own faces and say, okay, this is what I'm contributing to. You see what I'm saying? The craziness of what's going on. This is what I'm contributing to. Because in a bad relationship, both people are guilty. There is no she did, he did. Both people are guilty to the demise of the relationship. Because if you're in it, what are you doing to add to the craziness of what's going on?
Yep.
I'm not speaking to you. I'm withholding sex, intimacy, whatever the case may be. I'm looking at porn. I'm going over here and I'm hanging out later at night. I'm not coming, whatever the case may be. I think we need to go back and revisit the contracts because in the beginning, what we said is we were going to do this. And a lot of times when the contract is written, people will go through and then there'll be bumps in the road, but they never go back to revisit what they talked about and what they said. And so it's like, well, wait a minute. I know in the beginning I said, we planned for having a child, but we didn't plan for having triplets. We got to go back and revisit the contract because you said you wanted to be a stay-at-home wife. I stood by it. Yeah, but we got 3 at one time. We didn't get 1. So we got to go back and revisit and see how we're going to make this work. How can you help out more? What can you do? And a lot of people don't do that. You go back and revisit the contract. I promise to XYZ, forsake all others and do this, death do us part, for whatever those lyrics are, or whatever the case. I can't remember. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Far away. I hear you. Good.
Can I just add to what Terry's saying?
Yeah.
I do think, though, that when we revisit the contract, it's too late. Many of us are not consistently revisiting the contract. So by the time we go to revisit it, we're revisiting it with a different purpose in mind.
Right. But remember what I said too, Amina, was when you see things going wrong, that's when you need to do it. Don't wait till it gets to, down the line where you say, well, forget it. You know what? I'm out of here. It's over. We're done.
I agree with that, but I also think you should revisit it even when things are going well. Yeah, I think we wait until we see, so like in my household, we're consistently checking in with each other, and it's not.
Yeah, man, but what does that look like? What does that look like? I mean, really, what does that look like?
Put it on the calendar and say, hey, every 30 days, we're going to have revisit the contract. Something I'm not doing. What am I doing? What do we need to do? Do I need to step up here? Whatever the case may be.
So I think that can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I learned, and this is what I think Quest, right? Was talking about in terms of learning yourself. And let's say now I have a better understanding of what I need in terms of communication. And so one day I was seeing this guy and we were talking and something he said triggered me, right? And I'm a communicator, but a habit I adapted to was not communicating throughout my relationship. And so what ended up happening was I was sitting on the couch with him. He put my legs across his, and he pulled me to him face to face. I think I was maybe like 2 or 3 inches away. And he said, "You shut down on me. What happened? You need to communicate with me. I can't fix it if you don't tell me what it was." I had never had that in my entire life be said to me. So that compounded. Okay, so I need to. He identified something that I've been doing that I didn't know I was doing, which was I started shutting down my communication. I probably did that towards the end of my marriage, right? When I thought I was a big communicator, because I am. I talk a lot, and I realized I adapted to my environment, and I am at fault for that, right? Because I didn't stay consistent, right? If I was a communicator in the beginning, why am I not a communicator now? So I identified and within myself, and now I know I have to do better with this person. I can't take the person I was, not fix her, and go into something else, even though I'm not in a relationship. Just
let me say, let me say this, Paul, too. Okay, and I see people putting in the chat.
You, Sheila.
I see people putting in the chat. They're saying contract. I said covenant. There's I want to make that clear. I said revisit your covenant. Contracts can be broken. A covenant only broken by death. Wow. Death of the relationship. Revisit your covenant. What did we promise to do? Now, young lady right here who was just talking. I'm sorry, where everybody was giving her shouts out. What's your name?
Sheila.
I'm sorry.
He said young lady.
All right, yeah.
He did.
All right, you look young on my camera. But here's
hey, she young.
Okay. All right, so here's the thing. When you say, I didn't communicate. In actuality, when you shut down, you did. Communication doesn't always come through the mouth. It's through behaviors and silent. That's communication. I'm not saying anything. That's communication. You're communicating that you're displeased or whatever the case may be. Unverbal. Yeah, everything is not verbalized. Thank you for that word.
That's a fact.
So, Paul, you asked, what does that look like? So in my house,
I'm asking for Paul Graham. What does that look like?
It looks like it starts this way, right? It starts this way.
Oh.
It helps with being able to ask the hard questions. And there, I'm gonna pull a card, and the card in here says, "What's the most frustrating thing about our sex life?"
Whoa.
Are you happy? Are you good? And so this really creates this way of talking about the things that are going well and the things that are not going well. And then we get to decide, like, what are we tossing and what are we going to keep and what are we going to add?
Can I see that again, please? Can I see that again?
Yeah.
Yo, it's
extremely... Hold up.
Wait, let me get it the right way. Okay.
And I got it.
For couples, prompter.
Where you get that at? The Book and Bible House?
Yeah, all jokes aside, though, that's the kind of stuff that's important and the kind of stuff you start discussing in terms of communication from the beginning. Like my homegirl, I told you, she was just like, "Yo, you are that dude. You are
Erica,
but you don't want to have children." And yeah,
but
okay. Erica just asked, "Can she share? Can she share what that of what she put in the cards from?" Just share it one more time. Just pull it up one more time. I'll put you up. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Conversation cards for couples. Now, I'm gonna tell you something right now, and I want to be very straightforward with you guys. Wendy had bought something like that, but it wasn't intimate questions in there. It's just conversation starters. That's what it's called. Conversation starters. It's on my table. This is why, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to be very vulnerable with you guys at this point, right? One of the things that I want you to understand is that I'm a great starter. I'm a great starter. I'm a great finisher, but I get stuck somewhere in the middle. I know that about my strength finders. I did a strength finders thing. You know what I'm saying? And the truth of the matter is that, like you said, you got to put the work in. And part of putting that work in is saying, hey, conversation starter.
Mhm.
Because Erica, you can buy this and it can sit on the table.
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of us know what we should do, but we sit on the table because we got other things that we'd rather be doing. Other things. So I'm going to ask you, if you will, Armina, if you can find, or anybody that's on right now, if you find a link to that, share that link so we can share that with others also. Before anybody begins, I want to welcome, let me tell you something. She is, who's the lady that talks to everybody about their problems, and she was on Oprah.
Yvonne.
Iyanla.
Iyanla Vanzant. This is the light skin.
No.
Iyanla Vanzant. She's so mean.
Don't you
She's
put my
she's
sister in that. No.
Oh my
The homie
goodness.
Leah?
She's
That's the
better
homie
than
Leah?
her. Okay. She's better than her.
Yo, let me tell
Look,
you
I'm
something.
over here hurting, T. I'm hurting.
I know you hurting, sis. I know you. Listen, for the past 2 weeks, she was not able to really be with us, but she's going to be with us for the bridge. She'll be with us for the bridge. Family, this is the person I was telling you about that can handle the women on Sunday. You know, that handle the women on Sunday. I'm sorry to put it that way, handle. But I don't even want her. I don't, when you don't want somebody to be your therapist or be your counselor because you're just not ready. That's her right there. That's her right. Nah. You were saying something earlier. You were saying something earlier about the contracts or about the covenant. Do you remember what you were saying? If you want to add that real quick. And I'm so glad that Sade came back. I don't know who knocked on her door, but go ahead, y'all.
Yo, who knocked on her door is insane.
Looking for first lady. Looking for first lady. I mean, she was gone for like 7 minutes. Looking for first lady.
A lot can happen in 7 minutes.
A lot can happen in 7 minutes.
Say that.
That's right.
My.
Look at Dr. Parks looks concerned. Dr. Parks looks concerned. Dr. Parks looks concerned. Like,
guns out.
Go ahead, Doc.
I noticed she went out when I was getting ready to speak, but that's okay.
Oh,
I didn't know. I didn't know who was speaking.
Leah, we first of all want to share our condolences with you, man, for your daughter's father passing, and of course your friend passing.
Thank you.
So we knew that you weren't able to just hang out with us for a little bit, but
I appreciate that. Thank
you got it. You got it. What's your thoughts, girl? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I've just kind of been sitting back and listening, and I tapped in just a little bit on this contract thing, and my thoughts, automatically went to there are moments where the contract that one has is not the contract that another one, right, is also operating from. So you have two varying contracts. And even I heard you, T, where you said covenants, right? When you're looking at it, it is an individualistic sort of a process, honestly, right? Who am I really ascribing to and signing up right with? Is it really with the human being or is it with God? And does that mean that I have something going on internally within me that I am actually, working in concert with God on, and my mate has no clue of? I'll give an example. So this is my second marriage. So I was married prior, very short-lived. And in that, when I engaged in the reflection of what happened, I had to be honest with myself. I got married because I was trying to actually renew my relationship with the Lord and not establish a relationship with my mate. That was vastly different, right? So the guilt that I had in being a single mother and stepping outside of the will of God, I thought that in marrying someone that was a part of the church and a part of the faith, that was going to bring me back into good graces with God.
Man, be careful.
Mercy.
Right?
Mercy.
And in reality, this individual was just a catalyst. He was being used. I had to be honest, because there was absolutely no love that was present there. So sometimes the contract that you think, right, or the covenant that you think is going throughout the relationship is not. It is an individualistic thing that's happening, and another person is just a part of the process.
Mercy.
You know, can I just cut you off? Just go back to do what you were doing before.
You just want me to get off? Have a good night. Look.
Wow.
So
I got you. I
have
got
a
you.
question.
Go
I
ahead,
have a
Sade.
question. As the, never married, single, little lonely person on the show. Okay. I had to say it. I had to, right?
Yeah,
Because
she came back. She came back from the knock on the door. But go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
For 7 minutes.
We I
I love you, Sade.
You too.
7 minutes, Sade, you on.
So my question is though, where do people in my position learn from people in your positions in the church?
Wow.
Because
Wow.
what I hear is there's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of you don't want to do this the wrong way, or you want to do it this way. But I've never had this conversation within the four walls of a church.
Yeah, this is good. I'm telling y'all, February 28th to March 2nd, you want to be in Maryland for the Unscripted Conversations live. I'm just saying, you want to be there. Yeah,
and the reason why I ask is because I feel as though a lot of Christian marriages are failing because the church does not cultivate us in our singleness enough that when we're married, we have the wisdom of those who have come before us. I have a lot of wisdom from friends outside of the church, but when it comes to same morals, same values, same foundation, I'm having to go out and seek it when it really should be something that's available to me. I walk in the door and I say, I think I want to get married. Here, Sade, this is your mentor. This is the woman that's going to help you.
Cam's comment earlier on was fire. It falls in alignment with what she's saying, is that sometimes you bring people before God that he didn't, and we expect God to sanction this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what other resort are you left to when you're not having conversations like that? They give you the information. They always say information applied changes situations, right? But we're not getting the information.
I think that.
Can I piggyback on what Sade was just asking?
Yeah, and then Sheila, go ahead.
So when you say the cultivation that should happen in the church, or the cultivation that is not, right, in spreading wisdom, I would actually argue that the church doesn't cultivate honesty. There's the void of truth, right? Because we have to present a particular type of way. And so if I am open and honest and vulnerable, then I am not this perfect being in which we were taught to be, right, from our youth. And so I often say it's going to be a whole lot of people busting hell wide open because the church has cultivated a space where we cannot be open and honest. And I'll be quiet after that. I'm good.
Mercy, Sheila.
That's a word.
Mercy.
You don't have to be quiet.
Don't either.
That's a word.
But
this goes back to what we were saying about us always being concerned about things of extrinsic value. Nobody does the soul work, because when you do the soul work, you're left with nothing else but to tell the truth, because you're not thinking about who like you, who don't like you. All you're concerned about is the truth. This is what this is, and this is what it is not.
My man said that made me pull my computer closer.
Right.
Go ahead, Sheila. Go ahead, girl.
I came into the church in 2010. So I come in with this big personality. I'm talking about intimacy. I'm talking about sex. I'm talking about relationships. And let me tell you how in some places it was mute. you don't really hear about people who went through situations but they were divorced and then they got into a loving, relationship. They're quiet about it. I know a few, right? But it's not big. It's not widely discussed. What's widely discussed is getting married. What's widely discussed is getting married, having children, are who's single deacons, the women coming to the church for the deacons. But where is the conversation about the person who is divorced, and got back, or been divorced for 10 years, still looking for someone? What were the ups and downs that they received? Sometimes the divorced people are shunned.
Right.
Sometimes.
They are.
They disappear. So you don't know from someone who can give you true honesty and full transparency. You hear
Right.
from the people who are married, who are hiding what really going on in their house. And so you think you got to live up to what their expectations are, what they're presenting, which is false.
Right.
Yeah.
Sheila, let me be clear. In the Seventh-day Adventist Church, this is what I know. In the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we keep preaching that it is the young people who are been ostracized from the church, and that is not true. The group that's been ostracized from the church the most in the Seventh-day Adventist Church are divorcees.
Yes,
This is a fact.
It's a fact.
I was in women's ministry. I remember many divorced people coming to, where's the, family life? Where's the divorce ministry? Where's the divorce ministry? Where's the divorce ministry? I know a lot of people that got divorced and then they disappeared. Where are they?
Right.
Well, I will say this. You probably want to hear from somebody who's divorced. You probably
absolutely
hear from somebody who's divorced. So at least you'll know, hey, it's not all, butterfly. In the beginning, what is it? Butterflies and lies. So, it's like, hey, down the line, let me tell you,
I gotta
how they
drink when
always
nobody's
say,
talking.
when you get married, it ain't gonna always be, that's what you always hear. But you don't really know what you're signing up for. You really don't know.
And those premarital counseling is like the death of couples, because that is a space that so many great things can come out of, but it doesn't. And it brings me to think that, there's a saying where we should all stay in our own lanes. Clinicians can't be pastors, and so forth and so forth. Premarital counseling should be left to clinicians, because there are concepts that only can be discussed from a clinical lens.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear for you. For me, I got my coaching. I'm just going to say coaching, right? Because they do teach you they teach you pastoral ministries. They teach you certain things, but they don't teach you tools. This is why for Paul Graham, I do not do marriage counseling. What I do is premarital counseling. And I'm gonna tell you, I wish I knew what I knew now after my coaching, after my certificates, after my so-and-so. I wish I knew that 20 years ago, because now in premarital counseling, or I should say premarital coaching, that's what I do now. There are a lot of pastors that should not be doing it at all. You need refresher courses. You understand where I'm coming from? There's things that's going on today. And when you say clinical, I recognize that the word clinical for me is get your certifications. Or you understand where I'm coming from? Because I will not do marital counseling, because I don't think that when you're married and you're going through issues that it's the same as premarital. But I also in my premarital counseling, I felt that a lot that was given was the Disney World, the flag flying high, the so-and-so, whatever. No one talked about the BS along the way, the crap that's coming, the fights that's coming along the way. So I agree with you 100% that pastors who are doing this, please be certified. Please, please. And I'm not just talking about regular coaching. I'm talking about certified. Be certified in certain things.
But
because
let me just say this, and I'll be done for the night. There are things that have taken place since the pandemic that has impacted and affected the husband and the wife in the home.
Absolutely.
Or the boyfriend and the girlfriend, or the fiance.
You're right.
there, and to your point that even someone who has a license should consistently be out there sharpening their tools, because things are changing all the time. Human behavior is changing all the time as the world is evolving, and so is human behaviors. And I'm not trying to say anything against pastors. I love pastors. I have a ton of pastors.
No. You say what you need to. You say what you need to say, so that I'll clinify myself. Say what you need to say.
I mean, I had premarital counseling twice, and I won't call the names, but one was like horrible, and the other one was good. And the horrible one sold us on a book that they wrote that was like this. Now I can't even when I pull that book out, I'm like, this don't apply to like I can't use this. And it was like, talk to me about how to fight fairly, because we're gonna fight in a marriage. So what does that look like when we fight? What tools do we come to the table with? Don't tell me that when there's aught, go pray. I get that, but in the moment, what tools can I use?
Yeah.
And so
I like it. Listen, man, I'm with you. Listen, sis. Let me tell you something, right? Let me say this real quick. Let me say this to you. To everybody on here. When months and months ago, when I talked to Quest about this here, right? About this kind of program here, right? It is really important to not talk with water in your mouth. It's really important not to talk with water in your mouth. And when I talk to Quest about some of my issues or whatever, somebody said teeth and tongue mud me.
How you mean?
What you mean? That's you right there. That's what we need to start. We need to start calling Armina teeth and tongue. Yeah. It's true. I don't need to feel good about it or feel bad about it. It's truth. We are jacking up people's relationships because we are not clinically poised for it. We're not ready for it. That's why when Pat went out and got his counseling degree and being licensed and whatnot, he's saying, I want to be better, Paul. I want to be better. Yeah. And I find that if we're going to be better, we need to talk about it. It needs to. That's what it needs to be about. I spoke with 8 pastors at our last pastors meetings, and we were talking about all of us, like 8, 9 of us, going and doing it together, counseling together, because we're not just preachers anymore. We're builders, and we can't build on nothingness, and that's what we've been doing. So, Armina, throw the gavel, sister. I'm ready.
Don't take your foot off the gas for a moment, P.
Okay.
I think what you just said is a major part of all of this. At the end of the day, as Bible-believing Christians, one of the objectives that we should have as Bible-believing Christians is to be kingdom builders. And I think we get caught up in the different tasks like preaching, evangelism, community service, all of these different things, without the mindset of actually what does it mean to kingdom build? Do we even know what, you hear the text over again, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Do we even know what that means?
Well, Sade just asked. Sade just asked a question. I'm coming to you, Dr. Leah. Sade just asked a pertinent question, right? Where Armina was like, well, here's the issue. The issue is that Armina Sade is saying, this is what I need. Pastors cannot give that. Pastors cannot put that together, right? Because we don't recognize the immediate need. What we're looking at is the kingdom of heaven need instead of the kingdom on earth need.
That's right.
And we're not kingdom builders. So once Sade says, hey, where the people at? Where their experiences? We can't leave it to the pastors, because I'm going to be honest with you, we don't get paid more for it. Mm-hmm. Right? Our conference doesn't say to us how you doing with that. Right? That is not a part of our manual. Mm-hmm. It's not. But you can ask Sheila, you can listen to Sheila when Sheila will tell you, I could remember, and it wasn't from me, it was other people running this. I remember when RPC was a family-oriented church. I remember when men would come together and cry and hold each other. I remember when the women would go to a space, and then I could even remember, this is monthly, right? And sometimes it just organically happened. I remember when I didn't see my wife because she was with the women and I was with the guys, and they would say to me, you're not a pastor in this room. Are you understand where I'm coming from? And I don't ever remember men going back and talking to their wives about what they heard and women go, it was just that. But when the church stops, right? When the church stops, I think that's when families stop. That's what I believe.
Do you remember
But
what I told you when I was going through my divorce, Paul? I
Mm.
said, y'all, I'm not going to cuss, but I said, you had us in this damn bubble in this church. We were doing life together, and we were doing children's ministry, youth ministry, couples ministry, women's ministry, men's ministry, pathfinders, adventurers. We were so busy with our lives, we forgot our relationships. And when we got in COVID, what everybody did, they realized, they looked over at their spouse and was like, oh, snap, I still don't like this person.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Remember I told you that?
Yes, I remember.
And that is what I think you were saying when you were like, a clinician is needed, right? Because those are the tools. That is where all these breakups are happening, right? After COVID. Not that COVID was the culprit, but you stuck in a house with somebody that you really don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at Mike. Look what Mike said exactly, Sheila. Hey, listen, we got to land the plane. We got to land the plane. So, Sade, would you please? Oh, so go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Sade was trying to say something. I'm so sorry, Ma.
Oh, no. Because one thing I would say is what's interesting is a lot of times, and this is something, again, my therapist spoke to me about today. He said, you need to stop talking to unhealed people about what you're getting. He was like, when you entertain people who you know are unhealed about what you're praying about, what you're asking God about, because I told him, I said, every time I talk about marriage, everybody's like, oh, you just have this fantasy. He was like, no, that's your prayer. That's not your fantasy. That is your prayer. That is your faith walk. And when you're talking to people who are unhealed, they're talking from their pain, not their present truth. And so I think there's a lot that happens even in the church to the point of, where do we have these conversations? The first conversation needs to be, are we healing? Or are we
I love it. I love it.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing on a regular, consistent basis in front of each other? Because if I can't be vulnerable with Sheila and say, you got some more stuff in the bag, but because it's rough right now in my life. And Sheila says, Sade, let's pray. Like, I understand where you are, but I understand where you want to be, right? Only a healed person can see that although Sade is asking for something from her flesh, her spirit needs something different.
Let me say this right quick. I'm sorry. Were you done, Sade? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're fine.
What I think is, and what Armina was saying was very poignant. We have a lot of pastors, and I love pastors too. But as I mentioned before, they practice outside of their documentable competencies. Okay, and so the deal is that we have a lot of people in the church that have a bystander apathy. That's how we approach things. What does that mean? Oh, somebody else will handle it. You walk by and you see somebody, that needs something. Oh, somebody else will get them. This ministry will get them. They'll take care of them. The pastor will take care of them. So we have this bystander apathy. We just watch, and it's like an accident happens and people just standing like expecting somebody else to do something. Okay, and we don't have, I'm an expert in domestic violence. There's no way around that. Violence happens so much in the church, and guess what? Nobody will refer anybody to me. You know how I hear? Once they go to jail and they get out and they make a phone call. And I've had plenty of people in my church ND class. Okay, they've been in there. Again, if we're addressing this stuff on the front end, we don't have to pay for it on the back end.
But you know what, too?
That we have to deal with. I see it all the time. Nobody's dealing, and people think that domestic violence is between that's between a husband and wife. In violence, people just think abuse always means physical. It's not. It's not. There's using the children, there's coercion and threats, there's economic abuse, there's male privilege, there's minimizing, denying, blaming. There's so much that goes on.
Well, then maybe, Terry, we need to normalize counseling services, because this, even though
Absolutely.
we're living in an age now where we know mental health is a thing, we know that there's all of these different factors that, like, for real, my personal belief, you Black and you live in America, you need a therapist, period.
Listen,
Right? That's number one.
church
But I
does.
think the thing is that it's not normalized. We still got people in church. Well, I don't want to go to Terry because I know Terry and I got to tell all my stuff to Terry.
Yep.
And I'm afraid that if Terry know my business, he go, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I'm gonna feel ashamed. Even if he don't tell my business, I'm gonna feel ashamed having Terry know that I'm dealing with this stuff.
We are bound by confidentiality, sir. I'm not going to lose my license to talk about who you sleeping with in the church. It's not
Absolutely. But I think the thing is too, that even just coming to Terry, like just to tell my business, if I tell him this stuff, I'm gonna feel away because I got to tell him this stuff.
But we've heard that all along. We hear that Adventist people talk. I have heard that throughout. So as a clinician in church, there are some people who won't come talk to me because they are afraid that I'm going to talk. Mind you, you have no proof of that because that has never happened. But my previous church will pay for people to go to therapy for a set amount of sessions because the pastor of that church values the self, right? Because he knows if you're sitting in the congregation and you're broken or bruised, there's no way that you're even going to hear from the Holy Spirit. No way.
Can't.
Yeah.
Can't.
And that's what I was going to say is that when we're looking at the church, it's a group. We have no norms for this group. So when we talk about healing isn't one of the goals, right? It's not one of the things that we make as something that should be first and foremost. We glorify the fact that it's a hospital filled with the sick, but we talk nothing about normalizing the process of healing. So you got to start there first before they start calling you T, right?
But I think that's why and shameless plug, I think that's why the February 28th thing, February 28th through March 2nd, is going to be impactful. Even if you look at the six of us who have come together, right? The way that we communicate within our group text is the way people should be communicating, period.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a vulnerable space to say, hey, I'm having a rough day. Let's pick up the phone and call. What do you need? How can I help? What's going on? And if we make that to where that's what everybody gets to experience, get your safety net together, then we will see a change, not only in our church, because let's break the walls of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We will see a change in the communities we live
in the community.
Serve, because we will now be a reflection of Christ, not a reflection of a church. We will be a reflection of Christ. We are reflections of the SDA Church at this point. My goal is to be a true reflection of Christ, whether that's with the SDA Church or not. Praise God.
Got you. Hey, listen, it's almost 11 o'clock. It's supposed to always be finished like a quarter to, but y'all guys keep spitting fire all the time. Got a question for everybody. I want everyone to answer as we go, as I put everyone off, or for everyone to answer. If there was a highlight that you got tonight for yourself, a highlight that you got, that you learned, or something you'd like to share before we go, what will it be? The first person I'm going to start with is Dr. Leah. You start first, and then anything you learned tonight or you'd like to share tonight before we go.
And listening to the conversation, I think that when we're looking at the church and how we promote, right, what it is that we should be doing, you all spoke about kingdom building. I think kingdom building is subjective, right? It is based on whatever the individual sees kingdom building as. And in that, we can actually do the will of God, or we can actually do the reverse and send people outside of. And I'm going to tie that into the whole marriage conversation, because marriage is promoted as something that's a part of building God's kingdom, right? But marriage can also be a beard that helps to keep people living in sin. And so I want us to, begin to just kind of ponder on where we're trying to navigate and guide people to, absent understanding what they're really truly going through. So before giving advice, sit with the person, really get to know them, talk to them, figure out what it is that they may be struggling with before giving your input, your 2 cents, your guidance, because you could actually be sending them straight to hell instead of to the
Hey,
all right.
hey, Doc. I'm looking forward to you and Lonnie coming down this way. If there's anything we can help to make it happen, please just let
Thank
us know. It'd be a privilege, privilege and pleasure, privilege and pleasure.
Same
Later,
here.
sis. We'll see you again.
All
We'll
right.
see you
Have a
again.
good night.
You got
All right.
it. Hey, Sheila.
Mhm.
Anything? Just add anything. Anything? Any thought? It doesn't even matter. Anything you learned tonight, or anything you like to give
I
tonight.
think something Sade said stood out to me. What about knowing who to communicate to, and you know, someone of God, knowing how to respond to her in that aspect of friendship, or at least somebody in the church. And I wanted to kind of I got checked again because you and I had this conversation about speaking to women and speaking to couples and people who are divorced, and people always ask me how I got through it and how it looks so easy, you know. And I would just venture to say that everybody needs to find someone that they can be fully themselves with in any shape or form, right? Sometimes we say we can be ourselves with people who aren't churched.
That's right.
It's the easiest to be with them because they'll take you as you are. But within your community, find someone you can talk to, find someone you can be yourself with, find someone you can say the worst thing, and you think like, oh, I shouldn't say this to somebody. When you are with that person and that person makes you feel whole, male, female, a friend, when you find that person that you can laugh to, talk with, cuss with, cry with, pray with, that is when I think that people tend to branch out and grow. They tend to
Wow.
now start to look within and go, oh, okay, I don't have to keep up these walls. Now I can be free. Now I can say what I need to say, and I don't have to have up these barriers. So now when you walk into a room and you see a bunch of people, and you don't feel like you have to keep up these pretenses. But if you don't have nobody that you can start with on the ground to communicate with outside of God, right?
Yeah.
We're praying that He brings somebody to you that has those characteristics. You're going to be stuck in this place where you're just by yourself and you feel like you can't communicate and you can't be transparent other than God and your therapist.
I got you. I got you. Sheila, man, it's always a pleasure.
I don't
It's
know how you
always a
got me
pleasure.
on this thing, man.
Yeah, hey girl. I mean, you can't be talking hard and then I can't, where are you in your house? Are you upstairs or
No,
downstairs?
this is the new living room.
I didn't get to see it. I didn't get to see it. You showed all your girlfriends and you
That's
didn't.
because anybody want to come, I'll be having girls' nights and we be doing lots of things.
Okay. I know. Yeah, okay, all right. I'm
Okay,
upset
bye.
now. I'm upset. Don't worry, we're going to Quest House. All right, good. Bye, baby. We'll see you. We'll see you. Good friend, good friend, good friend. Good friend. Wow.
She look mad
Guys,
familiar.
it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I know that tonight
What, you're
I'm
not
gonna
gonna
say
ask us the same question?
That's what I was trying to figure out, Sade, but
I'm
I ain't.
sorry. I
Because
gotta
I
remember.
had mine.
I gotta remember that I always end with me and Quest by ourselves. So I apologize. I got a little excited because I'm so used to you and Armina and Doctor who up there with the Lions. So all right, here we go. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What did you learn, or what do you have to add?
So what I learned, and I hope Kelly watches this, or she's still on. Literally, the Holy Spirit was like, "Let your frustration feed your faith."
Ooh,
In times of frustration, how do I stop sitting in frustration and allow that to feed my faith? I think too
mm,
often we think faith is pretty and faith is, good, but how do I sit in my frustration and allow that to feed my faith and not my flesh? So here's her testimony of this man who flew across the country to see her. How do I
Come on.
internalize that and say, okay, God, I see you doing it for other people. I believe that it can happen for me. So how do I allow my frustration not to feed my flesh anymore, but to feed my faith?
Can I add something to that too? I want it to be said, and I don't know her business, and I'm not trying to put her business out there, but she said some things about 90 days, just no talking, no nothing. Like, if there's any intimacy, I just want it to be conversational ministry. I don't know how to say this the right way. Like, please don't compromise, ladies, in terms of not engaging in the physical part of the intimacy, because it's going to cloud your vision. My man didn't, at least I don't know her personal business, but I'm saying that's what I gather from what she was saying. And my man, through all of that, made his decision and flew across town. And she still is going to get what she expecting to get. And she ain't have to compromise. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I like. It wouldn't have been me, but I like.
Man of God. Man of God.
First lady. First lady. What you saying? What you saying?
He said,
Listen,
if I'm just quiet,
listen,
he
can
said
I
he
be
was
straight with you?
selfish. I didn't
I'm not talking.
baby,
I'm not talking about me
myself, I can't
now.
help it.
I know who I was
Uh-huh.
then
I'm villain.
and later for that. All right.
Okay, praise God.
All right. Good. Let me just put you in the green room. Let me get rid of you before you start talking again. Blah out. All right. Here we go. Tell me your thoughts, man. Tell me your thoughts. Look. That's my big sister. My big sister's like Paul.
I think, I think I learn from everybody every, week I come on. I believe that we need to bring this church to a new millennium.
Wow.
It kind of reminds me of if you follow Star Wars. I'm a huge fan, but the Jedi were like an old religion. You know what I'm saying? People really didn't pay attention to them. They're like, the Jedi mind trick is for the weak-minded. I think we almost kind of like this old religion that we're not trying to move forward from. We're holding on to our old ways. When we look at other churches and other denominations, they have so many ministries that they do, and we don't do that. We still operating off of Dorcas. Well, they don't even call that anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we're not doing the things that we used to do that made us the church. And we have to move with the times. We're not doing that. There are churches that have counseling departments and marriage and divorce and all types of things that we don't even have that anymore. I don't understand. I don't understand why that is. And so we all know what the issue is. I said it weeks ago. We got to be solution focused. We all know what the problems are. Now, how do we solve it? What are we going to do about it? We talk about it every week. And I think, coming up on the 28th and whatnot, we're going to put that into play. That's what we need to do. We need to put those solutions in place and make sure they stick. There's no way that all of these professionals we have in the church that with the Oakwood and Andrews and everywhere else, that we don't have this set up in our churches.
Right. You're right.
It makes no sense. We push the health message till the cows come home, but we don't push our mental health.
Wow.
We don't push our mental health.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that, man. I mean, yeah, I got you 100%. 100%. We'll see you in a little bit. Armina?
This was a sad episode for me. I think the reality, I'm very passionate about healing and the healing journey and people finding healing. And I just feel like listening to our community, and the pain that we endure, but we keep showing up each week. We keep coming. And I pray, and I know we're a small group, but I believe in the small group here can move mountains and shake things up and start a whole revolution. But it was sad because the reality hit. I think I know it, but it hit that we are so far behind the 8 ball when it comes to total healing.
Yeah, I want to say this. A couple of things that you said tonight, and usually when everybody usually leaves, it's me and Quest. We're just talking about a couple of things afterwards. What did we learn? So and so, what have you. So I'm going to say this before you go. One of the things that I really believe is important is that there needs to be a level of reform among pastors if they want to do this thing or not do this thing. There must be a level of reform. Number two, I think what Terry was saying, because remember, we talk about solutions, right? What Terry is saying, that there needs to be also a level of reform in our churches, definitely, all right? So that it can spill over into our community. Another thing that with the conversation started, that was a tool, right? And I love the fact that our guy Lyons from yeah, Terry, stay on. Um, from Heather and
Dre. Heather and
and
Dre.
Dre. To put it
Atlanta.
out there, to be right, to put it out there, I think that was wonderful what you've just done, to just simply say, hey, here's a tool right here, right? And to see many people on there saying, okay, give me the, give me the, I've learned tonight personally that the tool is there, so use it. The solution comes after you're using the tools. And I really believe that some of the things that you have said tonight, because you are you are a resident, you are a resident Batman. You know what I mean? We're gonna make sure, hey, how do we do this? And I think that healing, right, Shireen? Shireen from she's from England. Wow, so she's 1, 2, 3. My gracious, what is it? 4 a.m. there? Healing is it. Healing is it. And Wendy makes this comment, man. You got to start somewhere, and I think that you're putting it down. You're making it happen. You are what's the word again? You are guiding and helping us move to a place where I think not just we need to be, but what many people where we need to be. Take the conversation to solution based, and I think that you're bringing us there.
Can I
Now,
just say one thing before you kick me out?
yeah.
I'm saying it now because I probably will forget it when we meet. I think we should come to this conference with some kind of a manual of like different things people can do. Like, even if it's a bunch of worksheets or a book that has different things about communication and parenting, and like if we just give, because the people don't have the resources. Like you're saying, use the resource, but where do I find these resources at? Mm-hmm. So we would do great to top off what we're doing on the 28th if we bring resources to give out.
I got you. And when we get together, like we will, we'll talk about some resources that we can.
I'm gonna forget, but I'm just putting it out there because I don't want,
It's out there now. Folks
to
people are going to text and be like, "Where are the resources? What are the resources?" And I'm going to be like, Armina's pockets. Okay, no, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
To your point,
I see a table full of like different things people can take with them.
Absolutely.
To your point, Mina, I think that we should also have a solid team of therapists that we can refer people to after each event is over. Like, yo, don't let another day go by.
Right,
Here's
for that
this,
area, especially
here
for that area.
is Mina's firm. Here is Dr. Terry Parks. I got a homeboy in Ohio, Joseph Wilson. Like, there's a number of therapists we got within our community. It's amazing how many we got.
Listen, I invited my interns. My interns to come for the weekend and be on standby if anyone needs anyone to talk to in that moment. Because sometimes we hot in the moment, we ready. But when we leave the space or we let a day or two go by, all of that hotness gets cold, And so I've invited them to come and just be ready and open if someone is asking to speak to someone.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Listen, thank you. Armina, thank you. Her new name is Salute. Not for salute, but solution. All right, lady. All right. Hey, Quest.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm taking away with, right? Sade's therapist said, stop talking to unhealed people.
Man, oh my gracious.
Stop talking to unhealed people. A lot of the times in church, we going through stuff, and the person that you choose to share it with is just as broken as you are.
Yeah, yeah.
And they can't give you nothing but co-sign your foolishness and keep you stuck in the same place. And the enemy knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I want to normalize. I don't care if you know the therapists of your church. I don't care if you know them or not. They're bound by law not to talk your stuff. If they do, they can lose their license.
Not only that, you can sue and get a new house.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So do me a favor. You need the help. You know what's amazing to me? What's amazing to me? Jacqueline Barnes, let me answer her real quick. What's happening on February 28th at Peace Church is we're having a symposium that deals with navigating relationships and health and emotional well-being, marriage, dating, and everything else in between. I want y'all to be in the building. So if you are there, Jacqueline, I promise you it's going to be one of those weekends. Friday night is the barbershop for the men. It's only men. Ladies, please do not show up to that building on Friday night. We will turn you away. I'll be the first person to tell you. I need to create it. We need to create a safe environment for men to do what they. And don't worry, we'll have something for you guys on Sunday too. We got a brunch for you ladies as well. So we'll talk. You'll see more coming to you as the days progress. But I wanted to just jump back on real quick, P, and say I want to normalize therapy first and foremost. There's a ton of us that need it. Just so everybody knows. So, do you have one question? Yes, I do have one, and I see her weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, depending on the season that I'm in. But I do have a therapist, and I'm seeing her right now. Right.
Gotcha.
So yeah, P. Stop talking to unhealed people, and get the help that you need.
Gotcha. So, everyone, want to thank you for joining us tonight on Unscripted Conversations. It's always great not just to have a great host with me in Quest, but also great co-hosts that it just organically happened with Dr. Parks, with Sade Darlington, with Armina, and anybody else who we bring on. We want to. I guess we didn't see Sister Green today, but we welcome her as she comes in the background and makes things happen for us.
Indeed.
I want to give a shout out to Carol Mans. She's on tonight. She's Cams. That's who she's. Cam. She's like my big sister. Great to see her. Dr. Vivia, who is in the Florida area, and I just wanted to another shout out to Shireen Taylor, and from England. Come on, it's 4 a.m. and her eyes are wide open watching this. And Mike Dorch, man, my man. But it's always good to see my girl Sheila on tonight. And so be blessed, everyone. Continue to walk with God and know this much, that to have an unscripted conversation also means for each one of us to be open enough to change. Be blessed, everyone. Be blessed.
Peace.